It's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, for tonight's show, which is 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive. And we're going to start in a few minutes at 7:15 every Friday night. Right now I'm getting my stuff together, my sage, my tea. Tonight's show, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, everything and anything that has to do with basically your health, okay? New tips, tools, ideas, but really they've always been around through our connection of God or love, right? Through our learning, through our living, through our lives, from the beginning of time, really. All the answers come from working with God or love. So we're here live from our Shoppe and Center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Again, this is 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive. Tonight's forum with this is about asking questions about anything you want to ask about related to your health, okay? So this is about your health. This is about, anything to do with the health of your family, why somebody crossed over, questions about why you don't understand why you have certain sicknesses or why the doctors call it this, or you just want to know what's the metaphysical cause of something, right? Or you want to know why your friend is sick or what made your friend sick or how the COVID shot is affecting you, right? I mean, it could be anything and everything to do with your health, including mental health, right? Drug addiction, solutions for anything and everything from love. Highest knowing of love is what this show tonight is about. So, as usual, we're running a little bit behind. It's classic for us. We got our tea. I have my sages. I got to get my shit together here. And I'm just putting on my rings on. So I see everybody starting to come up. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody in the audience. It's still early, though, so we're going to give everybody a few minutes to come. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you guys, and we're going to put on our rings, because one of the focuses today, though, is I'm going to put on my rings. One of the focuses today, main focuses, is going to be about energy work. I had some wild experiences actually, it's really been for a long time now. My whole life has been about wild experiences, right? Be it with health, be it with anything metaphysical and everything that is God or love, right? Because that's been my journey, is to teach and learn everything about love or God or universe, so that I can not only understand it for myself and help me to live my greatest life, but so that I can help the people that I love, as well as everybody out here. So tonight's show, again, is about your health and utilizing all these gifts, because anything I can do here, you can do. It's ask and you shall receive. Talk to love, higher guidance, higher knowing from love. So while I'm taking this few minutes to get my rings on, if all you guys could, if you haven't already got your questions together, please do, because anything you want to ask about that has to do with health, and a lot of people don't realize health is everything from mental health to physical health to, the health of your friends, your family, your pet, behavioral problems, right? With your kids, with the clashes with, let's say, our parents, right? Or our animals don't get along, right? So anything that has to do with health, meaning your well-being, because your health is your well-being, right? And health is in everything, right? Yeah. So one of the neatest things that nobody ever thinks about with health is, like, people say to me, I learned this from a lot of my clients. They take the time, because I work with a lot of different people, and it's funny because when you're in alignment with what you do, you find that a lot of your clients are in the health field, let's say, right? So I have a lot of clients who are doctors and surgeons and therapists and counselors and life coaches and psychiatrists, and it's crazy, right? Because what you are is what you attract. Addiction counselors, right? People who help people with addiction, right? So we're talking about this because this is the nature of God or love, is that everything in your environment is about healing, right? And tells you about who you are, because what you are is reflected to you in everything out here. But to get back to the main focus of what I was just talking about a few minutes ago, where I'm talking about why I'm talking about how many of my clients are therapists and doctors, right? And people who, let's say, take care of other people, because caring for other people is health. It's health, right? When you go and visit a grandmother or an older person, right? I don't really like to say an elderly person so much because there's such a stigma in Earthworld with that. But if I say it with compassion and love, that changes everything, right? So, and coming from my heart, and I'm authentic in that space, as opposed to somebody saying it's like he's fucking elderly, some kind of crazy shit like that. And so there's that energy running in there. So remember, your intent is everything in the words that you use. But going back to this health thing, right? I see people all the time. They say, well, I said, you're an incredible healer, to some of these people who go and work with elderly people, and they just sit and talk to them, or spend time at their house, or go to centers where they live and don't have anybody, and just spending that time with them, right? Helps them so much to be healthier, to be happy, to know that somebody gives a shit about them and cares, right? Heavy stuff, right? So health is in so many ways, this is why I'm telling you this little bit here, is because health is in everything. It is in everything. It's how we treat other people, right? The time that we spend helps us to be healthy, because then we feel good. It helps us to feel good. We know people care about us. People are there for us, right? But only is it best when we're authentically in those spaces. So tonight's show, as always, is really focusing on health in all ways, right? So you can ask about metaphysical health and earth world health, because they both go hand in hand. If you're not well in here, you're not well out here in some way, shape, or form, in your physical health, in your actions, what you're doing. It's going to show up somewhere in your reality, because that's how things manifest. Last week, we talked about emotions. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of emotional healing in these times. Hi, everybody. I see you all there. Thank you for coming. Thanks to my regular crew and anybody who's new on here. Thank you for coming. Okay, so that said, let me just go back to what we're going to be working on tonight. We talked about the emotional. We're going through a whole lot of emotional healing in these times with the transits that's in the stars. Again, that's why it's called 6 and 12. It has everything to do with astrology, past lives, the places we imprison ourselves. Asylums, that's the 12th house, right? Hospitals, addiction, mental health, mental unwellness, right? That's the 12th house, right? So that's a main reason why it's called our show is called 6 and 12, right? So 6 is about your house of physical health, right? But there's many other things in astrology intertwined and all that, but your 6th and your 12th house go together because they're metaphysical and they're earth world. And also your 12th house, right, is also about spirituality. It's the heart of the collective, right? So, and all the placements in astrology have everything to do with all of your health, as does the metaphysical, because it's all the same thing. Astrology is just another formula to get to the bottom of what's ailing you or what doesn't work for you. And that's why the show is called 6 and 12, Medical Intuitive, because these are the guidance from higher knowing or love that is God that they have brought me to call this show, to help everybody understand that everything health, the 6th house, which is Virgo, right, is metaphysical, right, which is Pisces, right, your metaphysical home of earth world, law of universe, as you have Saturn as your law of universe in literal earth world, right? So both of these houses and all that is astrology, that is the formula of God or love, that is individual for each of us, and all that is love in the whole entire collective, and all that is God and love in this earth world, okay? So this is why we call it what we do. Just a quick reminder, all right? So tonight we're going to talk about energy work, right? Last week we talked about emotions and how they can affect you and how they manifest, right, in your physical body and in your unwellness. And we will talk about these things throughout the whole show because it's a constant theme in our lives, right? Yeah. So tonight I'm going to give you a little bit of wisdom of my experiences that I had this week that has everything to do with healing me physically in the metaphysical. Really, really cool shit. I got my hibiscus peach tea, fantastic stuff, right? If you don't know what it is, definitely look into it. It's fantastic for assistance with high blood pressure, as well as in your lymphatic system, and alkalizing, as well as alkalizing your system, your circulatory system, as well as, what did they say to me? With lymphatic system, releasing like excessive water, what do you call water when you retain water, right? So this tea is just fantastic for so many different things. Again, look it up. It's hibiscus peach, okay? It comes in all these different amazing flavors. You can have it warm, can have it cold, but it's a great alternative to look into for people who have issues with blood pressure and retaining water, right? But they're not going to tell us this in Earth World Physical, right? Or very few people will do that unless they're homeopathic and natural medicine person, right? And they happen to specialize in this area or in different things related to this, right? They're not going to tell you that this is here to help and assist you, right? Because the regular doctor is going to put you on what? Anyone know? Blood pressure meds, right? And then they put you on more blood pressure meds. But there's alternatives to everything natural in this world, okay? So remember that. So tonight I got my tea, right? I got my heating pad to help me assist me with my challenges with that I'm having with mold sickness. And there's more to it. And we've talked a little bit about it in the past, and we'll be talking more about it. But tonight I really want to focus on all this emotional healing that I have been going through, and my whole family has been going through, and we've all been going through. That's in the transit, that's hitting our charts, meaning our souls, as well as everything and everyone in the collective that is God, that is love. It's happening for all of us, okay? So we're all going through massive, massive transformation, and emotional stuff is a major theme here. Why? Because everything is what? Emotional. Everything is emotion. Emotions are the fuel and the energy, the energetic fuel, right? Like the gasoline that goes in your car, the wood that goes in the fireplace, right? Those are your emotions, are what fuels creativity. Creativity, creation, manifestation, right? Of all kinds, be it from your heart or be it from the toxic, right? Or your unwellness or fear. Fear, love and fear. You're master creators in this world, love and fear, right? And we all carry that shit with us, right? It's all part of our journeys, right? So this week, I did some massive energy healing. And I don't know if you guys got some questions together, but in a few minutes, we're going to ask you your questions. We're going to get to them. I know Sophia's here tonight, and she has some questions. Ray is here. Hi, Ray.
Hi.
And we have Jennifer over here. She's also with us, our usual great crew of people who are just fucking awesome, just like you guys, fucking awesome. Thank God for my people. Thank God for my people. Okay, and that said, so tonight I'm going to talk about this metaphysical stuff and this healing, because I did massive work this week on what you call the 12th house, right? And this is really important for all you guys who are working, who are metaphysical healers, teachers, who are working with love energy, who are doing any kind of variation of the work that we do, right? Any kind of spiritual people, anybody who wants to be a healer, it behooves you, all right, to do energy work, right? Whether you do it with the chart, right? All the what do you call it? I'm just going to ask God to clear my phone so that no more interruptions like that happen in my screen. Thank you, God, for that for us. So let me just bring me back to that space, God, now, please. All right. So if you're a healer, if you're a teacher, whatever it is, I'm sure that you do that as metaphysical, right? And you're in this earth world. The new world is going and moving to love, right? And really, we have tons and tons of magic that we need, that behooves us to utilize in our reality. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. All right. So this magic we can use, right, to work. It's called energy work, to heal and assist and do the best things from love for people. All right. For our clients, for ourselves. So this week, I said to God, as I'm working on my soul and I'm working on putting my heart back together. And this is the theme of this week's show, putting my heart back together, making my heart whole, because this is the nature of so many of us old souls, right? So what did I do? I asked God, I asked love, I asked universe. I said, okay, God, what is it That's the next big chunk of stuff that behooves me to find. What do I need to know? What do I need to look at? What do I need to find in my heart, in my soul, to heal me, to make myself well, to heal my heart? What is it that I need? And this is how you do this work. Ask and you shall receive. Ask for whatever it is. Earth world tools for your health, metaphysical tools for your health. But if you are a healer and you don't know about doing energy work, it is a must. You must ask God to know. Just words and thoughts create. Pray on stuff. Ask universe for everything you need, because this is how it's done, right? Anytime I want to know what's happening with you, you ask a question here, what do? I sit here and I go, okay, God, what's the God's honest truth about this? What's the God's honest truth for Sophia, for Teresa Courtney Lloyd, right? For Rachel, for anybody, for my pet, for me, right? I said, where do I have to focus on God for my best healing for me? What is the best metaphysical placements that I need, that behoove me to be free of, to change all of this? Thanks God for getting all this energy off of me now, because we did a massive healing session last night with this whole heart stuff. So we got some funky energy on us tonight. It's crazy. That's the whole thing about energy work, that once you start doing it, right, there's a time frame in between that it behooves you, right, to understand that sometimes you're going to cry. Sometimes your energy is going to be off. Sometimes it's going to be wild. Sometimes you're going to be irritable, and you're going to have 3 or 4 days where you are like that, right? Sometimes. And sometimes it'll be longer. But what happens is it's your whole entire body when you do energy work or have energy work done or work on your soul with the astrology placements. Words, thoughts, emotion create. They create everything out here, so including your health. And when that happens, you rewire your actual reality, your actual soul, everything about it, everything that has to do with you, your cells, your souls, your energy, your heart, every aspect that is you changes when you do work on you, metaphysical work on you. And it's known as energy work, right? You could do bowls, you could do sound, you could do music, right? But everything is energy. And there's all different modalities, and they're all amazing. I know so many people who do fantastic energy healing, right? Tons, right? So you pick and feel in your heart. Ask God for what the best energy healing is for you personally, for your best health, right? As well as if you're interested and you are a healer and you want to get into new aspects and avenues, ask God to guide you to the best teachers, the best people, the best healers from love, right? So you can not only learn from them, but see the results in your reality, in your physical body, in you or with your family, right? Ask God to guide you to the best of everything you need from love. God's honest truth, right? Thank you, God, for that for us. As well as thank you for all of these things, the best healing, the best gifts, the best tools, everything I need to be my wellest me, my healthiest me, right? For me, my family, the best understanding, the best wisdom, the best ability to teach others, whatever it is I want to do. So tonight, all right, this is what we're talking about, doing energy work, right? Words, thoughts create. Every time we're on this show, on all of our shows, right, we do energy work, right? Since the beginning of time. That's why Christ says, ask and you shall receive. You're creating, you're putting out that energy. But what people don't realize is you are literally changing your DNA when you do energy work. You are changing everything about you, right? Just like when you have a problem, right, out here in Earth world with, let's say, a neighbor, or a friend or anybody or anything, if you change how you feel about it and you do the work on you in reference to it, you change that whole relationship out here, and then all of a sudden it might go away. It might change that your neighbor is now your friend. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's why they say what goes on in here happens out here, right? As well as they say, and these are all old world sayings, but they're also the truth of energy and the truth of God and universal law, and especially true here with metaphysical and medical stuff, all right, or your health, right? Everything, right? If you change you change everything out here. So when you work on your stuff, your unwellnesses, right, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's your habits, your patterns, your belief, the energy that can physically manifest into making you sick. You change that through here, through working with God, through working with love, through doing this energy work, right? With the astrology and all the aspects. Or you do the aspects, you can do it through music work, through vibrational alchemy, you can do it through sound bowls, you can do it through bars, you can do it through Reiki, right? There's so many different energetic healings, all right, or energy healing that you can do, right? So it's infinite. Just like the nature of God, and everybody is super unique and does their own thing. Just like even here, we do tons of different types and forms of energy work. So what we were guided to, right? Because as you all know, I'm working on super getting well for me, and mold sickness is not unlike what happens to people when they get the COVID-19 shot and they get shot after shot after shot. It is a challenge in your health to then be well, because the nature of these sicknesses are very much alike. They're bears, right? And universe, probably you heard me say this before, many of you, but universe said to me, right, when I originally became sick, right, and through this process and journey, they said, we knew you were never going to take the COVID shot, so now this is why this has happened. Because I said, what the fuck? What's going on? So that I can be my greatest healer, not only for me, but for anything and everything that comes along, as well as help and assist all the people who want to be well, who went ahead and got the shot and didn't know or want to change it and want to change their lives or go on a different path, right? To truly be well, whoever it is. Right? So this was all part of my journey to get to these places and these spaces, right? To get to the bottom of this journey, and I'm sharing it with you, right? Because if you don't have your health, and you know what universe said to me that they want me to tell you about? Is your health is your wealth. If you don't honor, respect, come from love with yourself, right? Right? Honor you, respect you, have great self-worth, right? The healthiest you that you can be for you. If you're not in that space, you're at a deficit. A massive one, right? You can't have your health. And then they said to me today, oh, well, guess what? Health is your wealth. We've all heard it, right? Your wealth is your health, and your health is your wealth, right? So funny, who would think that it would literally connect to how much money you make or the abundance that you have? But it's damn true. Because if you don't love you in the healthiest, best way, guess what happens? You become sick. And then you don't have your health. And then it's harder for you to work. It's harder for you to make money. It's harder for you to have abundance, right? Yeah. It's crazy, but it all goes hand in hand, and all the answers are right here in Earth World, right in front of our faces. And how often we don't pay attention, or we don't see it, or we don't get it. Again, ask and you shall receive. Fuck yeah. Yeah. And I was like floored, because, I've been asking God for this, asking God for that. How am I going to keep the Shoppe and Center going in these times, right? With we need money, we need this, we need that, right? How am I going to keep this going? How, and they said to me, oh, it has everything to do with your health. Everything to do with my physical health. Everything. Which also has everything to do with my mental health. All health is right here in your soul, right? And your health is your wealth. If you're not healthy, you ain't got nothing. And that's literal in Earth World, right? Can't expect to have lots and lots of money coming in. And you know what's so funny or crazy about all this that I'm saying? Is that how wild it is that if you're not healthy, right, it makes so much sense, because it's all tied to your self-worth, your self-love, right? Your self-love. If you don't love you, you're at a loss. You're not going to be your healthiest you, because it takes a toll on you physically, mentally, and all ways. And that's the whole spiritual journey, to be in our hearts. And everyone thinks, well, I am in my heart. I do nice things. I'm great for everybody. For your heart for you. Your heart for you. If there's no you, there's nothing. And it makes total sense. Your second house is Taurus. It is your self-worth. It is your self-worth. It's everything, right? And that's where your money is, your beautiful things are, and that's where your self-worth is tied to. It is in your heart. It is in your soul, right? If you don't work on your metaphysical habits, patterns, beliefs, consciousnesses, energies, right? To be free of the things that do not serve you, or the energies that you can't find in you, or are causing your life to be havoc and unwell, or you're not getting to the things that you want in this life. This is everything health, everything. Physically, mentally, spiritually, all your health is right here in you. Last week we talked about emotional health. Now we're talking about energy work and how this all connects together. Because your emotions, again, is the fuel that creates everything to happen. So when your habits, patterns, beliefs, consciousnesses are all not well, like your negative thinking, right? Like if everything in my life pisses me off, right? If Jennifer says something and it pisses me off, and then I'm angry because I can't get the lighter to light, and then I'm raging over here at Rachel because we weren't on time, or whatever it is that's going on in me, these are all telling me the truth about me out here, about our beliefs, about the truth of what's going on in here, right? Are we negative? Are we toxic? What is our soup of thinking, right? Our soup of energy that's in our soul that is super, super unwell, right? That we can see in our everyday reality by what we say, what we're doing. Do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy. Right? So, and we don't even realize it half the time. Every single word that we say is connected to what's going on in here. Every single word. Everything. Just like when we say the word elderly or condition, right? Or we say the word yes and we say the word no. These words have so many different meanings and so many different ways to say them. And they mean so many different things. So remember that with the words that you use, they are a reflection, and anybody uses. Everything they say tells you about their toxic in here, their wellness in here, their wellness out here, right? In here, out here, everything about them in their lives. So this week I asked God the best placements, and then we're doing 12th house energy healing. Did you have a question?
Well, sometimes I feel like I listen
Jen has a question. Go ahead.
Sometimes I feel like I listen to myself and I'm just like Mother. You know what I mean? And I don't even know what to pray on to clear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you get like everything that comes out of my mouth, just like you said, is like negative, and it's like.
Right. Right. Because you've been living with your mom for a while, and you see that her energy from the past especially has been negative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about my mom now. Her energy overall has been a negative energy, from a long time, and we all grow and we all change, right? So Jennifer is saying that basically she has all this negative energy, and of course she would be somewhat like my mother, because it's all the same energy in our family lineage, all of it. Right? So we all have this energy throughout our family lineage of our parents, and our children have variations of it, and Sophia was doing family trees this week, right? Mm-hmm. And all variations of that, right? We see different charts that line up with our charts because they're going to be similar in some way, shape, or form through the aspects in astrology and our physical reality as well. Right? So you're going to have many of those things that, let's say, mom has. So am I. Negative thinking, negative thoughts, nobody's good enough, you're not good enough. But where that comes from is, I'm not good enough. Do you see? Yeah. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Do more sage, because it helps release the energy of the energy work that I did this week, right? I did a whole bunch of energy work on me. So not only does sage help you be free of that, get energy out of you, release stuff metaphysically and physically, right? As well as when you get stuff on you from other people, right? So you're going to have some of that energy going on with you. And all of that is going to come out from the energy work, the energy sessions that we did just the other night. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah, I've wanted to clear that for a minute now.
What?
I've wanted to clear that for a minute now, so thank you.
Yeah, totally. So we all have all this energy in our ancestry, right? That has everything to do with our health. It's our lineages, our family lines that this energy is already in, but we came in with it so we could tap into this energy in this reality to heal ourselves. Do Do you see? So you're going to notice things about you. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I look like my dad, and I'm like, holy shit, right? In fact, like a year ago or a couple years ago now, I bought a pair of glasses, and I bought like reading glasses like these, and I put them on, and my sister said to me, oh my God, you look just like Dad. And I said, holy shit, these are glasses that my dad would pick out. They look just like an old pair of glasses that he had. And you know what? She's right. She's totally right, because that energy of liking those glasses or picking out those glasses and being like my father and having that energy in me from my family lineage created me to do that in this reality. Well, same is true, right, of our psychological stuff, our energetic stuff, right? Everything about us, physical, right? So if my father can get sicknesses, right? Like my father became septic at a certain age and he got really sick, right? So it's going to be in the propensity of my family energy for me to pick up some kind of sickness and become septic. Do you see what I'm saying? So same thing with the irritability, that Jennifer's talking about, this energy that can't stand anything and is raging about everything and doesn't like this and doesn't want this and is never happy. And when the truth is that energy hates itself. Yeah. So this is why this energy work is so important, because if we secretly or subconsciously, and we don't even get it when we have these moments, right? People go to the doctors and they're saying, I have these incessant thoughts and they're terrible, and then they get a pill, but it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't, right? No. And if it does, like an antidepressant or a Xanax or whatever sometimes the doctors will give you for these things, right? Whether it's Wellbutrin or Paxil for anxiety, right? They give you all these kinds of medicines. How would I know that? Been there, done that, right? So, right, they give you these medicines, but ultimately you get off the medicines or you get immune to the medicines, and it never really heals the issues, right? While it helps for a while, right, eventually it's going to come back out in some way, shape, or form, either in the energy out here, in the way that you act and behave, in your physical reality, in your psychological issues. It's going to come out because you didn't hit the core of the energy, the habits, patterns, beliefs, and the toxic energy in your heart and in all that you are in your soul, and then all that it is in you and all that it is, right? You didn't release it and free yourself from it and heal it and change it and clear it and process it and put the best way to be in place of that. We didn't do that, right? Or you didn't do that, or the world doesn't know how to do that, right? Because this is how it really works. So energy work is massive here, massive for your best healing psychologically, mentally, spiritually, right? So I can go in, right? And this is what I do with my shit, because I know there's a whole part of me that doesn't even exist really in my heart. I'm this guy here, but this is why we're all here, to heal our hearts, our self-love space for us. We can't change the love energy space on the planet if our hearts are not well. So we're working on making our hearts whole, because what happens is that toxic negative energy, that super unwellness, what does it do? It grates on us. It destroys our hearts, right? And when you're high-end energy beings, right, what happens is the longer you live, the more you process energy, the more gifts you have, right? The more you realize love, and you're such big lovers in your hearts, authentically, that you never want to hurt anybody. And more often than not, with people at these highest vibrations, and I think we might have talked about this before, because what happens is we get a deficit of love for ourselves because we are so busy worrying about hurting anybody else, like that Cancer energy, always doing everything for everybody else but never for us, right? And Earth World conditions us to this from lifetimes, right? And what does that tell you? That there's a massive self-worth void here on Earth. There has to be, because these people aren't authentically in their hearts. They think they are, but they're not. Yeah. That's why this is happening out here. But in order for us to be these master healers and come and change the planet and get to those highest vibrations of love and bring this world to those spaces with the best solutions from love, the best gifts, the best tools, free us from hate, free us from unwellness, free us from toxic, right? And create a whole new world. Our hearts can't be broken for ourselves anymore, right? I said, God, what is going to make my heart whole? Because this is totally associated with everything that's going on in the transit in our stars, in the stars. That is all that is God, that is the catalyst of God, that is all in our souls. All of this is totally this energy that's going on right now. Transformation, Pluto, Libra, Mars, conjunct, just recently, if it's not still going on, right? And mine is in my first house. Woo! Going into my second, right? Talk about revamping my self-worth, who I am, everything about me. Heavy shit. But the whole world's going through it. Because if we're not in our hearts, we're going to be in a deficit in so many ways. And that's how we're going to stop the toxic that's going on here. And this is how we're truly going to be healthy. We're going to be free of drug addiction, free of metaphysical sickness, right? Free of psychological unwellnesses, from anxiety to OCD to learning disorders to autism, right? To schizophrenia, to all different forms of bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety, personality disorders, and whether it's personality issues as well, rage, anger, depression, sadness, right? All of these things, as well as physical ailments, from cancers to autoimmune. What is autoimmune? Autoimmune, right? It's when your cells attack themselves. You're damn right. It's when your cells attack yourselves. It's your soul, toxic, right? It's you attacking you. Ooh. Where you hate you metaphysically, where you are at a deficit for you and don't love you metaphysically. This is so why the whole core of the spiritual journey is all about being in your heart and your self-love space. Everybody hates Donald Trump, and so many people now it's Vladimir Putin, right? Because somehow, some way, they love themselves better than we do. In a different way, maybe so, and not in the healthiest, best way. But they got some kind of that in them, and it empowers them, right? Yeah. So we want that in the healthiest, best way from love, and not necessarily like them, right? In the healthiest, best way from love, in the purest form. And this is the work that we're doing, right? Because we want to be in this space of God, this space of love, to have our greatest lives and to bring that to the world, the new world, right? Yeah. Totally. So, that said, what did I do? I asked God, how am I going to heal that hole in my heart? That hole where I don't know what I want. I don't know what my dreams are. And like Teresa Courtney Lloyd said the other day, my fears, I have all these, I feel like I'm living like in fear mode, or I'm just powering through and I'm not really living. That's a classic Aries energy, right? That's a classic Aries energy. I know all about that, Teresa, all about that. And I'll bet you everybody here fucking does too, right? Because these are the chronic epidemics in this earth world. If we were in our power and loved ourselves, we would have never taken the shot. We would have never had this government. The world would have never been taken over, right? Because we're so loving. We want to give everything to everybody, which is what we do to ourselves too. We don't put ourselves first, right? We don't. And then all of a sudden we wonder why people take advantage of us. People shit all over us. Why all these crazy fucking things are happening, because we didn't stop it. Because we didn't know better. We didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. We didn't want to, stir the boat or rock the ship or what the fuck ever, right? But the bottom line is, if we don't care for us and we don't love us, this is the kind of shit that happens, right? And this is exactly what's going on in the world. And this is exactly what it behooves us, and the whole of what's going on in the astrology right now for massive whole heart healing. It's the same very reasons why we don't know what we want or who we are or what we really love, because we spend so much time taking care of everybody else, doing what they're telling us in Earth World, conditioning what we've done for lifetimes. Those habits and patterns and beliefs and energies and emotions are all in us. And we're doing all this out here for everybody. And then one day we fall on the floor, right? Because we ain't got nothing left for us. Can't get off the couch. If we sit down and rest for 5 minutes for us, because we've given everything to everybody else, can't be running on a cup that's half empty for you. Can't do it. Everybody see that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, with this, I said, okay, God, because I know this has everything to do with my physical sickness, right? This physical sickness that they're telling me that they claim, not that they claim that I have. I know that I'm sick. but it's a variation of mold sickness, right, which causes a form of autoimmune for me, right? And it's not just one autoimmune. I'm just telling you what comes in Earth World to explain it to you, right? Because when you have mold sickness, it manifests in each and every individual in various different ways, but you'll know by the whole entire everything that happens in Earth World. So like my one daughter has seizures, another one has super depression from this, right? My sister had massive lung issues and coughing, right? These are just some of those symptoms, and everything from nerve pain to shooting pains to can't breathe to allergic reactions. I mean, it's bizarre shit, and it's just very much like having a down immune system. That's autoimmune. Autoimmune is when your cells attack themselves, when your heart is not in the healthiest space for you. These are the kinds of things that happen in our physical health. Not just depression, and we can have those things too. Not just depression, not just mental illness, not just addiction, right? We can have D, my favorite line when people ask me questions. So more often than not, it's D, all of the above, right? All of the above. These are all the things that can happen to us when we are sick, when we have a self-love void. And it usually isn't clear and apparent till we are older, because the doctor says, oh, you're young and you're healthy, right? But it doesn't mean that you don't have any of those symptoms. They're just trained to say, you're fine, and then they tell you that you're crazy and you're a hypochondriac, or maybe we'll give you something for anxiety if you're worried about your health, but you really are having physical symptoms, right? Yeah, it's crazy shit, isn't it? Yeah, because they don't know in Earth World doctoring or medical world, right? They don't know these things that we learn from here. Right? Ask and you shall receive. Now, there's some people who do know, right? So you ask for those people. You ask for the answers. You ask for the God's honest truth to get to the bottom of it, right? So you can get all the answers that you need, right? Because until you heal this again, all these medicines out here, they'll help you for a while, but nothing is going to truly make you well, but what? You working with love, highest power of love, God, universe, right? Working with you, right? Okay, so that said, we're going to go into this space now, and I asked God, I said, God, how do I make my heart whole? And we worked on all these placements, 12th house placements, and this is for all you guys. Any of you who are doing the astrology, who haven't done it, 12th house placements, Chiron, all right, your Chiron in all the houses, all right, and all the signs. Go through all of those and start diving in to all the levels of your chart, right? All the levels of astrology that is out there, that is you, right? So I'm talking about a whole bunch of things, and in the future we'll talk more about this, but you can start with your natal chart, right? You have a natal chart, you have a transit chart that goes with your natal chart. That's an everyday chart that tells you what's going on in the stars and nails certain things in your natal chart. In other words, what happens in the stars activates certain things in your natal chart, which is your Earth world picture of you when you came in, right? Your natal chart. And then there's a soul chart, right? There's a soul chart as well, meaning when your soul came into your body. There's another time with that. Then there's a subconscious, all right, soul chart. Then there are past life charts as well. And then you can go back, right, to previous lifetimes. You can work with your parents' charts. You can work with your pets' charts, right? So universe will guide you to everything you need that is all that is astrology, right? As well as, anything that comes in that is emotional, your 6th and your 12th house. What is going on in there? Because Virgo is your house of what? Emotional deficit, right? It's your least emotional sign. People think that they don't have emotions, not unlike Capricorn, right? They think that Capricorns are very stoic and don't have any emotions, but the truth is, these energies, this Capricorn and Virgo and Taurus, they have powerful earth world emotions. Powerful. Think about it. Just as solid as the earth is, that's how solid the love energy magic that is in them is. That's pretty fucking powerful. Right? But it's hidden in the depths of the earth, right? Because for them to love so hard, right? When we lose love, all right? We're at a deficit for love. It hurts like a motherfucker, right? Those souls that love the hardest, right? Are more often than not, which is us people who are the oldest souls that exist, right? Who are authentically in our hearts, truly. right? Who love the hardest, understand love the most, not because we are blessed and we're better than other people, but because we are that part of God and love, and we choose to be that. And we've done the work for lifetimes, right? Yeah. So I said to God, what in me do I got to heal in my heart to hit the next space of best healing for me so that I can be well physically? What is it? And these are those placements, right? So start here. Research 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these placements, right? Chiron in Virgo, Chiron in Pisces, Chiron in Gemini, all the signs, Chiron in Libra, Chiron in Scorpio, Chiron in Capricorn, Chiron in Taurus, right? All the placements. And in all the houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All of them. It'll take you a little while. We had a 2-hour event last night going on to clear all this shit out of us. That's why at the beginning of my show, my energy was like, whoa, all over the fucking place, right? Because I'm trying to balance, because my whole entire energy and my soul and my physical body is reacclimating, right? Because I'm healing. Right? I'm releasing all this crazy stuff, which is the same reason why my sister got those negative thoughts, right? Coming out of her, that were in a family lineage, that were in her, that were basically, we would, in Earth World, we say, well, that's being like my mom. Ew, I have those things that are like my mom that are toxic. But really? They were already in me before, in her before, in a different way. It manifests in the energy. Same thing with the aspects in astrology. That is just a mirror of an understanding in a particular way of your soul. That is all the God formulas that are out here. Everything is God magic to teach and heal and assist you, right? So we did all these placements, massive healing, right? And before that, I did a whole bunch of massive healing on myself as well, right? And this is what I want to tell you, because days before this, and I was on my energy bed, and it's coming out in my physical because I did not feel good. So when you guys do this stuff, get ready, because your energy is going to be jacked, right? You're going to be more irritable, maybe. You might cry for a while. You might tell somebody accidentally to fuck off, right? Because this is the shit that comes out of you sometimes. Sometimes it's images. Sometimes I'll say shit like, what did I say to you today, Rachel? That was so fucked up. I can't even remember what it was.
I don't know.
It was something about soup, right? Oh, I told her when she had lunch that if she didn't eat her lunch, that she couldn't get a new soup from the restaurant. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Right? I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me, right? But this is all the stuff that comes out of us. And I'm like, oh my God, clear that out of me, God. Clear, heal, and change that, right? But this is the crazy shit we do. Controlling stuff. I mean, just outbursts that are crazy nuts, that reflect what is going on in us, and releasing these energies as well as physical. I didn't feel good all day today. My whole fucking body is aching, and more so than it would normally ache, with the mold sickness and shit, right? And the reason for this is definitely related to this energy work, right? Yeah. So it's releasing in my physical energy, through the way that I'm acting, through words, through thoughts, through how I'm feeling, right? And usually the changeover, right, when you do this work, right, sometimes you'll have massive shifts and transformation in your energy. It's incredible, right? Incredible stuff. Like I was in my energy room, and I was like laying down. I said to Rachel, oh my God, the other day after I did a massive amount of energy work, just like I guided you to, it behooves you to do for yourselves, right, on all this to help you along and totally start really working on creating the wholeness of your heart, to heal these things that have been at a deficit for lifetimes, right? That's why we came here, right? So I'm in that energy room. I said to Rachel, I need to rest. I need to get some rest, right? And I lay down, and then somehow I wasn't comfortable, and I got up, and all of a sudden, there's a massive shift in my back, and I was like, holy fuck. And my spinal cord, right, from here to here, in the center of my back, a little bit above my bra line, right, to the mid-back, right, like this much, shifted, and I felt all this energy release from my spine, right? And what is your spine? Your spine is your structure, right? What?
Just waving at each other.
Rachel and Jen are sitting here waving at each other, right? Crazy shit. But that's what makes them so much fun. So what happens is I sit up, my back does this massive, like almost like shift in my spine, and I'm like, holy shit, because this never happened to me before, right? So I'm kind of freaking out because it hurt like a motherfucker. And I was like, oh my God. And I have been going to the fucking chiropractor, Dr. Steve, who's fantastic, energy chiropractor, for fucking years, and he has not been able to adjust my back for a long ass time now. I shit you not. Not even really since the beginning. He was able to work on it a little bit, but nah, right? And he's fucking magic with his gifts, really. So this happens. I do all this energy work on me, all having to do with not being whole in the 12th house placements in my astrology and working, asking God for these answers. God's honest truth. I have this energy shift when I sit up. I have a massive amount of pain, and then I'm like, holy shit, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move or what. Massive release comes out. I let go. I let God, right? But during this time, as I'm about to freak out because I'm like, oh my God, I just fucked up my back. That's what I'm thinking, right? As most people might think in Earth World, what's wrong with me, right? Excuse me. And what happens is, as that happens, I get a vision this long, this wide, of a crocodile spine. And I'm like, holy shit, crocodile spine, right? And I'm like, because that is reptilian energy. That is the darkness in me, in my spine, releasing. And I'm like, holy shit, it's all that emotional stuff. And if you think about it, what do they say? Crocodile tears, right? You ever hear anybody crying crocodile tears? What are they? The old world saying is that they're not really the truth, right? Yeah. There are tears that aren't real, tears that aren't emotionally true. So that would make sense why I would see crocodile spine image when I looked, when that happened, literally. So you get wild energy shifts. This was massively transformational for me. Massive, right? But this image tells me the story of everything. That in my emotional space, I had no tears for me, right? Nothing. No emotions, no nurturing, no compassion, no dreams, no for me. That's that crocodile piece that was in the core of my backbone, my stability, and all that I am. And my emotional blockages are fucking me up in the core of everything I am, in the center, 2/3 of my fucking back. Can you believe that? Yeah. Incredible stuff. By doing this energy work, right? I'm releasing this, right? And this is all parts of the work that we do here in our shows, right? We've done some of this. We do lots of it all the time. Asking you shall receive. Thanks God for me being free of this. Thanks God for me creating this. Thanks God for healing this. Thanks for releasing this habit, this pattern, this aspect, this, that. You see? We do this work all the time, but how profound this was. Now I can fucking move. I can breathe better. I'm still, having challenges from this last energy work session because this is one of the things that I do. And it's one of my challenges for sure, right? Because I don't just pour gasoline on the fire. I put like an 18-wheeler on the fire, right? Because I'm just maddened, right? And sometimes that shit can kick my own ass, right? So today I'm in a lot of pain because I've done massive amounts of energy work on top of that, right? So, and it can't not affect my energy, my soul, my heart, and it's all reacclimating. It's all changing. Right? I change me, and sure, I have to face some demons, and sometimes it's tough shit because I don't feel really great about me. Nobody likes it when somebody calls them a piece of shit or a liar or tells them that they don't do a good enough job, right? And it hits them in their heart, and they go, ugh, right? Nobody likes that. But if you find those placements in you and your astrology by talking to God, working with love, both in your reality and in everything out here that is God, whether it's astrology and all the formulas and all the gifts and tools, God astrology especially, because that's what I do with all my gifts, whether it's numerology, astrology, medical intuitive, counseling, everything I do, right? Guidance, gifts, tools, everything that I got, all my gifts. I'm always working with love and always working with God, right? Because that's what we do, right? And this is how we can truly be well, because until we release these demons, and it doesn't feel good. I have some people, one of Rachel's friends, I'm not going to say any names, it's a guy, when we first started doing this work, man, and he first started coming to our classes and shit, he was like, you don't really tell people this shit about them. I can't believe you're doing that. Oh my God. He was like emotionally tore up, right? Because sometimes it sucks to hear that you suck and have somebody else tell you. But I'm not telling people that they suck, right, to be nasty and shitty. And that's not how I'm saying it either. I'm telling you the truth of God, of the stuff that no longer, of what you're doing, the God's honest truth, right? Of things that don't work for you. I tell my family all the time, just like with Rachel and the soup thing. As soon as I yelled at her about the soup, here I am controlling her, telling her what she can have for lunch, right? And I'm really being an asshole. And I'm like, and it just shot out of my mouth, and I was like, oh, fuck. That makes me feel like shit about me. But I know that's something that I had buried in me energetically in my soul and in my physical body that needed to be released, and it came right out. And I tell my family all the time, and my friends and my people, if I'm doing something, just like when Rachel said to me, Lynn, I'm not liking you much anymore. You're not very nice. You used to be so much nicer. And I went, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be shitty. I don't want to be toxic. I don't want to be controlling. I don't want to police your food. What the fuck, right? I'm like, so what am I going to do? I'm going to ask love to be free of all this consciousness energy, all this energy that is all of this. I'm going to ask love to be free of all the emotional habits and patterns that are all this, and to connect with them, and to feel them, to clear them, to heal them, to release them, and be free of them completely in all that this is. Thank you, God, for this for me and all of us now, from love, in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls, and in all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is. And in place of this, but the best way to be from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, for us, from love, with all of this. And thank you, God, for these gifts now, please, in the best way, for us at all. Or something better. But you see what I'm talking about? It doesn't make me really feel great in the moment, right? But if I address it, I connect to it, I feel it, clear it, heal it, change it, release it. Sometimes I might go home a little while later and cry about it. Have a moment, scream at the top of my lungs in my car because I got to get that energy out. But once we do this work and it's gone, ask and you shall receive, we start clearing that shit out, right? Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. But the coolest thing is, while it may not feel good in the moment, right? When I'm like an asshole to my sister, like yesterday I had a raging moment. What did I tell you, Jennifer? This is really fucking funny. She fucked up my lunch order, so then I texted her like 20,000 times about how she fucked up my lunch. And we're laughing about it now because it really is fucking funny, but it's really the truth. I was an asshole, right? But this is all this energy crap, and I'm not making excuses for it. This is me, my assholeness in here coming out, right? Telling people the truth, and we all got some of this, right? Whatever it is. And I was like, you suck, and my lunch sucked, and I hope you feel like shit about you, right? Because you fucked up my lunch. And I'm like, fuck you, right? You fuck. I'm like, and this is just all my shit coming out of me for doing all this energy work. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, clear it out, God. Heal it, change it. Let me be free of this, right? So I take responsibility for my crap. I tell Jennifer, hey, you know what? I'm sorry that I did that, and I pray on it, right? I'm sorry that this assholeness of me came out, And same thing with Rachel. I don't want to be that guy. I don't know anybody who really wants to be that guy. But this is what happens from lifetimes. And what do? I won't allow myself to be that person. And so this stuff gets buried in me. And I got to get rid of it, or it affects me subconsciously, consciously, in my physical body, my reality out here, my psychological, and in all that I am. So sometimes these habits and patterns are going to come out like this, and it's not fun. But the coolest thing is, my family, these people, they're doing the same work, and they do the same shit to me. And they know about it. They know about it. And then we start laughing about it, because it really is fucking funny that maybe I'm being an asshole today, right? But where it pings them, like if Jennifer feels like shit about her, she might get the rage on with me, and then it helps her heal stuff, right? But the bottom line is, we got to get to these demons, right? You can do it through energy work. A lot of people might not be cool with what I'm talking about, or meaning comfortable in doing this work. So the best way to do it is you can do it yourself, right? But it's still going to come out with you. So sometimes you might want to be alone. Sometimes I've done energy work in the past, and I said to my kids, look, I'm in what you call a bitch cunt whore mode. I said, I'm really angry, right? I've done all this energy work on me and I need to be away from you because I don't want to be nasty. I don't want my shit to come out on you, right? So these are the things that happen. But when you know what goes on, you can deal with it. You pray on it, you heal it, you create it, you clear it, you change it. Do you see what I'm saying? But this work, if you don't do this work, right, what happens is it torments you for the rest of your fucking life and for lifetimes, right? However long till you get a clue that this is what's happening in you and this is why what's happening in your reality is happening, right? People say to me all the time, well, I prayed and asked for money to win the lottery and they never fucking win the lottery. And they get all resentful and all shitty. And no matter how many times I tell them, it has everything to do with your self-worth and loving you and being whole in your heart and your health. Your health is your wealth, right? All right, so it has everything to do with you, why you're not winning the lottery out here, or why you're really, really fucking sick with autoimmune disease or disorder, right? Or dis-ease, right? Has everything to do with your sickness in here. Because you can't be well unless you do this work. Because it literally will make you sick and it stops you from manifesting all the things that you want out here. Whatever it is, right? Everything does, right? Everything in here is out here, right? What is that old world saying they say? As above, as below, right? As outside, as within, you know? Yeah. Okay, so time to do these energy works, people, if you want to do it, because who wants to be tormented? This is why I got to this path, because I lived a life of my own toxic for so fucking long till I got sick and miserable of being in the same cycles and habits and patterns and being in so much emotional pain in my heart that finally I said, God, I fucking had enough and I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to hurt anymore. I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of feeling miserable. I'm tired of not having my dreams. I'm tired of working 30 million hours a week in 3 jobs and having no money, no life, no happiness, hurting feet, right? Autoimmune disease, right? Cancer, sickness, all kinds of toxic would manifest in my life. Why? Because I didn't love me. And if I don't do this work, it keeps on going until you have had enough of your own bullshit, right? Your own sickness, own unwellness. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. This is just the process of universal law and how it works here in Saturn's Earth world, as well as it works with all that is love, that is God. And when you work with God consciously or love consciously, it becomes easy. And why? Because you ask for it, you raise your vibration, and then you're out of a toxic space, and then it flows. Just like when I said to Rachel, you can have soup, and Jennifer, you can have extra vegetables because I'm not paying for that, right? Or whatever the fuck I'm saying, right? Soon as I say that, we can sit down and we can laugh about it because we know that this is just my bullshit, and they can laugh at it, we can all clear it, and then everybody wins. Everybody has wonderful healing, right? And clearing. And we can laugh because we don't take it what? Personal. We know that that's Lynn's bullshit, right? Or that's Jennifer's crap, right? But sometimes in our people's spaces we get enraged and it tweaks us, right? So sometimes we just have to let out those emotions. But we have to do these things in a healthiest, best way from love. It behooves us to. Otherwise, then it makes it that much more difficult, right? And again, you don't have to do anything I'm telling you here. You follow your heart. Ask love what you should do. You make your wisest and best choices for you, right? This isn't a show to tell you what to do. This is a show to guide you. And if you resonate with this, then you do it and you fly, right? Because all I'm teaching really is high-end Christ formula of love in the purest form, right? To help you live your greatest life in this new world that is here now and is coming into the future, right? So you can, and so that you can really heal yourself in the fastest, easiest, best way that's out there. Work with God or love. The more you do it consciously as well as subconsciously, the more your soul will lead you to everything you need and your best health and your best wellness across the board. Cannot happen. That said, I'm going to check in with Rachel and everybody and find out what time it is, because we're going to get to your questions now. Can you please tell me what time it is? I'm afraid to ask.
It's 8:20.
I knew it was like going to be later. All right. So, yeah, because when we get in the zone with God, and then I have all this crazy energy stuff, right? Okay. So, all right. So do we have any questions tonight? Okay. So we're going to get to your questions now, guys. Thank you for coming. Thanks for listening, right? Sorry for the crazy chaos in the beginning of all this energy work. But at the same time, it's really great that you can see this and understand this and listen to this firsthand, because people don't talk about this shit, right? And most people, even spiritual people, don't know how to communicate or don't know how to heal it or understand it in these spaces in this way, right? It doesn't mean that I'm better than them. It's all about the God space you're in and what you connect to. But more often than not, people don't have all these skills and gifts and tools unless you what? Talk to God. That's how I get everything that I get. Ask and you shall receive, right? So the more spiritual people and the more the world works with love, right? The more you're talking to God all the time, all the answers come. The best communication, the best healing. And people don't talk about these things, how it feels or what happens, but it is a challenge, right? And to see it firsthand in Earth World by me talking about these stories is incredible, because you don't really get it till you can relate to it. And you need somebody who's a great communicator to do these things, right? And in this world, people are delusional, right? In their thinking, in their communication, and the way that we speak. I mean, me, Rachel, and Jen have had tons of challenges with our communication in these times. Rachel says shit to me, and I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you say that? I'm like, I don't understand that, right? And then we laugh about it, and we clear it, we heal it, we change it, right? And anything I got in me, free that from me now, please, God. Do you see? That has to do with all of this, right? But the best way to be from love. So a lot of times these people don't get to these doorways, or people out here don't know how to communicate. If we really knew how to communicate from love in the purest form and talk with God and ask love to speak through us, which is what I do on this show, then we would be able to communicate. We would be able to change everything out here from love peacefully. But that's the problem, is people have totally lost their hearts, their God space, right? Yeah. Okay. Questions. Let's do questions. All right, go ahead. Who's first?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd is first. She said her friend has been struggling with 2 times COVID aftershock. She had the vaccine after the first bout and now has diabetes and possible lung disease.
Oh, Jesus.
She was just released from the hospital and has to go through some testing. Do you have any insight? Or maybe she's wondering, she just needs to educate people about what's going on with this crappy vaccine.
All right, I have some questions for you, Teresa, that come in. I feel like she knows that it's the vaccine. We all know, right? We all know at this point, except for like a few people who totally want to deny it or can't see it or whatever the issue is, right? Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I got tons of stories. People who have died in their 40s, children are getting like herpes and what is the other word, that shingles and autoimmune diseases and disorders. I mean, 12-year-olds. I mean, this is not fucking normal. People who have had, just like when they told me with the mold sickness, right? They're telling me that I have autoimmune issues, and really they were never like this before, right? But they're like, oh, well, you're about that age now and you're getting older. Yeah, what the fuck ever. I'm not buying that, right? So, and this is really a variation of what I have is a variation of what's going on in there. It's an immune system that's tanked out to some degree, different levels of tanked out. And the issue is, you're right, it's totally this COVID shot. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says or thinks. You feel in your heart, and you totally know it, because it's just another toxin on top of all the toxins in our foods and everything that we're eating and everything around us, everything from these cups, right, that we're not even aware of, to plastics, to chemicals, to lawn fertilizer. I had a client who lost her dog. The dog got poisoned by lawn fertilizer, right, and had a heart condition. I mean, this is fucking heartbreaking. I mean, this shit shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. It's heartbreaking. So, Teresa, thank you for your question. Absolutely. Anytime you have a particular journey in your life and it hits your heart and your home, home meaning your soul is your home, okay? And it hits the people you love. In the case of this, it's heartbreaking. She's going to continue to be sick, right? Because this is what this sickness does. Years ago, if you were to follow my Facebook feed from the past, everything that's happening, universe already spoke of, it's all in my feed. Somewhere, some way, somehow over the last 2 or 3 years, right? All the shit that's going on. And if it's hasn't come to fruition, it's coming, right? Whether I'm here for it or not, or whether it's 5 years, 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks. But 98.9% of it, 99.999% of it has already happened and is happening, okay? That said, all right, and that's because this is really what's going on here. We're dealing with massive, and I brought you to this space because what I had said was that the AIDS virus is, and this is why they're likening it to people getting AIDS somehow, because the truth is the COVID shot is the AIDS virus. In other words, it's not literally that, but it's very much like that. It operates in the same way, right? It's designed to destroy oh God, it breaks my heart for these young people and the millennials and everybody, because it's designed to stop them from having children. It's designed to destroy your immune system, right? And what will happen is you'll have a propensity for sicknesses, right? And what happens is that propensity gets blown out of proportion or activated in your soul and all your cells and everything that you are by getting this shot, right? Or having too many toxins in your body, such as mold sickness, which is very much like it. It's a very difficult thing to fight and to kick ass on, right? So, and this is the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight in our 6 and 12 medical intuitive as well, is your diet. What you eat is super important. The more ingredients your shit has in it, the more toxic it is for you across the board as a general rule, right? And we've talked about that. So, to get her help, really revamp everything that she's on, right? She can always contact me. She can always come on here, right? Revamp, take a look at everything that she's eating. Whole foods, right? Fruit and vegetables, 70 to 80% fruit and vegetables, right? Comes in, as well as the healthiest meats, fishes, things like that. Fish, chicken, right? Some pork comes in for her as well, right? Some cuts of pork, right? You want to stay away from things loaded with hormones, right? And you want whole foods, things that don't have chemicals in it, things that don't have hormones in it, right? So, but some of the issues is like the traditional whole food store now has been bought out by Amazon. So now you have to double check, triple check, quadruple check, because you can't trust these big elite companies because they're fuckers. They're trying to kill us, right? They're all part of that darkness of the energies that have bought out everything behind the scenes, right? Because it's that smooth devil. It's that smooth satanic energy, as crazy as it is. This is what we're dealing with. This is why so many people can't see it, because the devil is so smooth. So smooth. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting, really, because they prey on the people's good hearts by telling them to go get the shot. Meanwhile, they're secretly killing them. How fucked up is that? How fucked up is that? Go get the shot to save my grandmother. It's like Hansel and Gretel. Are you fucking kidding me? When don't the kids go to the witch's fucking house in the forest, and the witch is like, "Come on in, my pretties." That's exactly what they did here. That's the fucking truth. Yeah. And so, what I'm going to tell you is it's up to your friend if she wants to be well, because this is going to be a challenge. I feel like was she double and triple vaxxed?
I'm not sure. She did say that now she is refusing boosters.
Good. I'm glad she's refusing boosters, because they're going to put her in her grave that much faster. Somebody sent me an article. Everybody's always sending me shit. Right? I'm always calling in stuff from God. I have a lot of people who send me stuff, and thank you everybody who are my people who send stuff, because I'm able to tell what's the God's honest truth, right? Because what do? I ask God to know, is this the God's honest truth? But one of the things that came in, and you guys should research it and look at it. Don't just take what I say for truth of God. Ask love itself. Ask God itself, right? Thanks God for the God's honest truth. And that's super important. God's honest truth, not somebody else's truth, not the truth, the God's honest truth. So what happens is, as a general rule, that once you get the shot, you got about 10 years. And you're going to be blessed as hell if you live that whole 10 years and you're healthy. But the odds are that you're not going to be healthy the more longer that's in you, right? The more toxic everything becomes, and your system shut down, and your immune system gets very, very, very fucking sick and susceptible to everything. And over time, so it's about a 10-year span, and then it goes, each shot you get cuts it out to like 3.5. So if you have 3 boosters, then you've cut your life down to 3.5 years. As a general rule, in Saturn's Earth world, universe tells me that is truth of God, right? However, there are ways when you're a higher vibrational being and you do the work that we do, the work that I do here, all the work that I'm teaching you guys, working with God all the time, working with love all the time, right? There are ways to work with these energies, and there are exceptions to every rule. It is up to the soul what they want to do and how they're going to do it. Now, it might not be in the way that they think, but universe, God, or love will take care of them. Really, this is truly about her coming to God. Your soul makes choices in this life, just like my choices, right? My soul makes choices in this life, right? And they are all designed of the grand plan of God and love that my soul has signed in on here for, right? Just like me getting mold sickness. Well, I say, fuck, I can't believe this fucking happened, and I'm so fucking sick, and all this shit, right? I signed on for this. Right? Fuck. Right? So why? Why would I want to be sick? Well, it's not in the way that people think, right? So this is about her destiny. All of our souls, right? So many people who picked to get the shot and chose the shot. Why would they do that? Do anyone know? Because they choose, what?
They want to exit.
Yeah, they choose to cross over, right? So I feel that your friend is having second thoughts. So the question becomes is, what does she want to do? Does she want to go to the path of healing? Does she want to go to the path of detoxing? Does she want to go to the path of changing her diet, working with God, working with love? Because this is profound change. It's like a juxtaposition. Because I used to be the guy that believed in everything Earth World. I used to be an eye for an eye. What was it? What is the old saying?
Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Oh.
No.
Oh.
Like, no, Rachel. Shut up, Rachel. It's fucking with you. It's that energy again. I'm like, no. There's that old world saying. Is it in the Bible? An eye for an eye, and what is it? Do you know what it is? What?
That's what I thought it was.
A tooth. What is it?
A tooth for a tooth. Yeah.
A tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye? Something like that. Anyway, you get my point now that we fucked it all up. But you get what I'm saying, right? So this, I used to be that guy, right? I used to be that person who lived in Earth world and believed in these beliefs. And I think all of us have some of this in all of us, the conditioning, the belief systems, right? And so it's a journey. So I feel she's going to go on a new journey now. And the best thing that you can do for her is if it's up to you, but she has to do for her. Right? She has to do for her. I can teach you guys here all I want. You guys can watch my shows, but if you don't get up and do it, then it's never going to happen. Right? So what I see for her is massive diet changes, massive detoxing, massive vitamins, minerals, supplements, all the disorders that she has, write them down. I can help you with this, but this is also an avenue for you to help her and for her to help herself and get out there and start talking about this shit. Fuck, she can come on the show and talk here. I'm cool with that. If you guys want to come down, I know you were thinking about visiting, because this is the kind of shit that has to happen. We have to get the truth out to the people. But again, it's a pretty daring space to be in, to speak up against the crap that's here. But we got the power of God, and I'm damn sure we got it, right? And that's like what the Wednesday show is about, because we're going to be talking all about this, everything, and we're super protected by God, by love, and we have super powerful magic. And it's all love-based in the purest form. So, I am cool with that. If she wants to come and speak her story, please do, because people need to fucking know about this. Right? They do. And they're hiding it. So she has a whole new destiny if she wants it. And yes, she can live longer than this. It's up to you how long you want to live. Whoever it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. How long do you want to go? What do you want to do with your life? So she's at a crossroads. And her soul has brought this in. And it's really for her best healing across the board. So really, this is a blessing. Might not feel like it sometimes, but just like this energy work, and just like like my mold sickness, right? There are times when I'm like fucking crying on the floor, and I'm like, just leave me the fuck alone, because I'm really sick right now, and I just need to be fucking alone in my people space, and I'm praying on it, and I'm working with God. So it's not going to be an easy journey, but these times are not easy, but they will be the easiest and best they can be, with love, with God, with universe, right? Yeah. So That's what comes in for her. Write down all her ailments. Tell me all her doctors' names. I'll tell her the best doctors, what's the God's honest truth about what's going on with all this. But the bottom line is this COVID shot is not going to stop. It's destroying her immune system. So there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, natural supplements and things that behooves her to do, whether it's vitamins, minerals, herbs, salts, and diet. Diet is profound. That was one of the things I was hoping to get to talk about tonight. But then we'll move over here. And things that are anti-inflammatory, especially to help her be less inflamed, like liquid turmeric is fantastic for that. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff as well. I think it's N-natal cysteine. There is also, I don't know how to say it exactly, but is it quercetin? That as well. And these are all great ways to help the liver process, right? And get rid of stuff, as well as we've talked about the the detox is, the clay, what kind of clay they call that is bentonite. Is it Mennonite or bentonite? Bentonite clay, as well as charcoal, activated charcoal, right? And research this stuff, right? Ask God for the answers. Ask God to guide you to what's the best stuff for you. I talked about it, getting it to somebody, I think, in the past. All right, so yeah, so start looking into detoxes as well, and your fruits and vegetables and plants, supplements, some of your greatest natural healing things, oils as well. All right, so these things will really help her, but it's insane that these things should happen, right? Then she'll get diagnosed with more stuff and more stuff and more stuff, and you got to say to yourself, this just isn't fucking normal. It's not. It's not. So I'm going to send her prayers and love energy and healing for them and everybody who so got the vaccination, if they so choose it, from love in the purest form. All the best gifts, tools, love, energy, magic, and thank you, God, for that for us all. From love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, and thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, that said, who's next?
Elizabeth. She says she loves working with oils and crystals. But when you mentioned the hibiscus tea, she was wondering what type of house plants can we look towards to heal and raise the vibration in our homes.
Nice.
She says that all plants are special and that she even loves dandelions.
You answered it yourself. All plants. All plants. There isn't a bad fucking plant out there, except for maybe the COVID-19 vaccine plant. When you say plants across the board, there isn't, like I said, everything that is God, that is love in its purest form is dynamite. That's why I really super love stones in their natural form as well, because they have this energy that is super magic, high in Christ energy, right? Or love energy, right? So all plants are going to be fantastic for healing, absolutely. There will be ones that you naturally connect in for your lifetime that are personal to you. Let's say you lived in the Navajo region in is it the United States, right? And you had lifetimes, right? You may connect with desert-like plants or plants that are in the Navajo desert. If there is there a place called that? But that's what's coming in. All right. So these things will be super healing specifically and personally to you through past lifetimes. So let's say you lived in the Celtic Celtic lifetimes, right? And you were a witch and you were in the woods in Scotland, right? So you might all of a sudden be pulling out, like you may go to Europe, right? And you may go to a nursery there and pick out some plants to bring to America based on that energy from that time in your soul, which is really cool. Fantastic for healing, because it taps into those energies in your soul and it brings together the earth world vibration, with the metaphysical, right? It brings those things together from love, all right? Love, all highest knowing, universal law of all that is God, Pisces and Saturn, right? And it opens up those doorways in your soul to those gifts, those gifts of, let's say, witchcraft lifetimes, right? Or maybe you lived in a beautiful village as a young woman and had a dynamite husband that you were madly in love with, and had a beautiful daughter, and you lived this beautiful, simple life. And I feel like this is truth for you. And these energies from a particular forest in Scotland, all right, meaning these plant energies are what you're drawn to, and this would be why. So the best healing plants are the ones that you pick out naturally for your soul, which happens naturally anyways, right? Because you don't just like something because you fucking like something. It's nothing is further from the truth. You like things, right? Because your soul calls them in because they feel good for it. They're for learning, they're for lessons, they're for gifts, they're for tools, they're for opening doorways in earth world and with the metaphysical, right? So you will naturally know what plants you are drawn to, and your house will be filled with them anyways. But all plants are healing across the board. High in God, nature is God. It's amazing. But the personal ones that you pick out are from lifetimes and connections that you have with these plants. Just like if you're working on, let's say, self-love, one of my favorite plants is the rose. It's a beautiful, beautiful flower. And I know this sounds fucking cliche. But everybody, right, on Valentine's Day, or people give flowers, right? And so more often than not, they're thinking about, oh, I'm going to get them roses. I want to get my lover roses. And they think about red rose for passion and your lover, right? But really, the rose is about self-love. Self-love. So if you are going on a self-love healing journey, you're going to pick out roses. Like, I love the springtime, right? We get these roses in what used to be really my garden in front of my house, my garden, right? And there was this one big, like, it wasn't a big rose plant, but it would make these big ass roses, right? And they were so beautiful. And I would walk by it and I'd put all my shit down in front of the door and I would stand there probably for about 5 minutes and just smell the rose itself. And it feels so soft and so beautiful, and it's so healing because it's self-love. That scent, just like the essential oil rose from Young Living, it's like fucking ridiculous price. I don't know, is it $300 a bottle for like 5 milliliters? But it's fantastically great for this. But for me personally, while I love the rose and it's a great substitute, nothing does it like the real fucking flower in real life, pure God. It's pure God, pure love, the most healing shit that's out there, right? Yeah. So you may find you'll be connected to roses, small rose bushes, hybrid rose bushes, any kind of roses, right? And I'm not saying that I want you to get hybrids, right? Follow your heart. Whatever you need to get, you will get. And that, it's kind of like, well, they're alive. I want to employ good things from love, and your soul will lead you to whatever is best for you always, right? But you will connect, right, with whatever colors, whatever energies are in those plants from past lifetimes to present day now, just like the rose. Every time I see that rose, I can't even help myself. Why? Because I'm taking a moment to nurture me, to love me. Because when I smell that rose, it makes me want to cry and release. And it's such a beautiful smell, right? And in the meantime, people give people roses all the time. When roses, buy yourself fucking roses, man. All you people, right? For self-love, for you.
Plant the bush.
You. Pink is the self-love color. Pink, right? And red is for passion. It doesn't necessarily have to be baby-making passion and lovers, right? It can be passion, love for yourself, love for your dreams, love for whatever it is that you want to do in this world, right? Yeah. Super coolest shit.
And Lynn, I remember doing the research when we did the essential oils classes, and we did the rose oil. I remember reading that rose has the highest vibration of all the flowers.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Jen says she remembers reading. I know that's right on.
Yeah.
Because your highest vibration of you comes from self-love, and that's where all your greatest stuff comes out here, right? People make the mistake of thinking that you're being selfish, right? When you love you, and that's not selfish, right? And toxic ego are not a positive, healthy self-love space, right? Not the same thing, right? There's a million variations of everything that is God and everything that is love, right? So Jennifer, I don't know if you all heard, I think that you did, but Jennifer said that rose was the highest vibrational oil. And this I know is true. This I know is true. And that's because of the self-love, right? Self-love is what the whole spiritual journey is about. Because here's how it works, people. When you love yourself in the healthiest, best way, you have plenty. Your health is well, right, in all ways, and you have massive abundance. And most likely you will be working with God or love in whatever way that is best for you from love, but you will be doing it because it doesn't come without that. It doesn't. Whether you do it in the Christ way or whatever ways or multiple ways and meshing and mixing or whatever it is, it's love, right? But when We are these people and in these spaces, right? When they talk about socialism and communism and all that shit, where they're going to take from the rich man and give to the poor, right? It's not how it works. And take from others to give to these people over here who don't have enough, and all this other garbage that's going on that's toxic, right? It's not how it works. When everybody comes from love and everybody gets in their heart and everybody works with God or love or universe, right? Works with love in the purest form and is in their hearts, amazing things happen, right? And you have so much that what do? You give to others, guided by higher knowing. You share all the wonderful things that you have, because that's how it works. And then nobody controls everybody. Everybody has freedom. All these amazing solutions come in for everything. And people go, well, the world is really fucked up and there's all these problems. The problems come from the toxic in the people, not from Earth world. They come from the unwellness in our souls, the darkness that's in us. Not demons and stupid fucking shit like that, all right? I'm talking about our own fucking demons, our personal demons, our crap. Like me trying to control Rachel or telling Jennifer what she can eat, right? Or the sickness and the crap, the energy that I bury in my soul that's toxic to me, that makes me really sick physically, right? Makes me get mold sickness, whatever. All these things are energies that are creating this stuff in me, right? So Rose is fantastic for healing, for self-love, and on this journey. But when we all come from love, that's how it really works. And that's the only way that you're not going to have violence, that you're not going to have Mars energy, that you're not going to have war, right? If people can communicate, and they can, if they ask love to speak through them, if they work with love all the time, right? Because their intent will never be toxic, right? And as long as you're trying to pull one over on me, my soul is going to rage at you, because you're not doing the right thing from love. And that's really how it works. That's what happens in nature. If I am harmonious in my me space, but when you start to wail your shit at me, I'm going to be like, fuck you, and fuck you till the end of time. When you're shitting all over me, when you're trying to take things from me, when you're being toxic to me, that's the nature of God. That's the nature of God in nature itself, right? Truth of God. Right? But when we all come from love, everything works out fantastically, and there's plenty for everybody, and there's all the best solutions, right? And that's what all these shows are about. And that's what's coming in the future. If we're all in our hearts, we change everything, right? But until we get to those spaces, people can't hear us, right? Till we bring this stuff and people are ready, they can't hear us. So a lot of souls will get the shot and they'll be crossing over, right? So also with the plant stuff, I want to go back to this for you. What is her name? Elizabeth. Because also what's beautiful for people too is beautiful colors. Colors and flowers, they bring the brightness in your day. They're fantastic for depression. They're fantastic for anxiety. They're fantastic for stress, right? They absolutely 110% are fantastic for mental illness, right? The colors of beautiful flowers and arrangements. When I see, what happens when you see flowers, you go, oh, they're so beautiful, right? Yeah, and you feel that energy, right? And they brighten your day. Yellow, right? Daisies. So if you have a lot of depression in the wintertime, fill your house with fucking flowers and yellows and warm colors and fire colors to keep it warmer in there, right? And blues to release the emotion. Let's say your high-end, anxiety, blues to help relax you and release, right? Yeah. So you'll feel in your heart what feels good, and different colors for heart healing, like all the chakras, right? All your chakras, all your sacral energies, your chakras, right? All these energies have different colors that are associated with in them, right? That will work with nature and the colors in flowers and the actual flowers themselves to heal you. How cool is that? Mentally, physically, spiritually, and always. Neat as shit, right?
Yeah.
So normally you wouldn't think of these as being questions on a medical intuitive show, but really flowers are healing. People who work with flowers are healers, right? Just like people who go to visit elderly people and plan events for them from their heart, right? Same kind of thing, right? Or, somebody who helps somebody out as a friend, right? And does it from their heart. This is all healing, doing cool shit for other people, authentically from love, with no resentment, no toxic energy, right? Yeah. All right, so those are some great tools for you with your flowers. Keep going. Build amazing jungles in your home. I love jungles. All right, so who's next?
Sophia.
Sophia Mack, you got a question?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I've been looking to my family tree a lot.
Can you speak up?
Sure.
Please, thank you. I'd like everybody to hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've been looking into my family tree a lot.
Okay.
The past few days, and I found out that I was related to. I'm related to a boy who died when he was 13 of a heart issue.
Mm-hmm.
They had an article in the newspaper about him. He lived in the 1940s, I believe. And he went to school one day and he pretty much dropped dead. And they tried to revive him, but they couldn't. And I wanted to know if this relates to the heart issues that
you have.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the 1940s, right?
I believe so.
Right. What do you feel?
I feel like it does.
It does. It absolutely does. But I also feel like you're doing the work on it. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, if you feel more comfortable, all right, with this, right? I don't know if anybody here heard Sophia, right? But Sophia was talking about how she did a lot of work on her family lineage, and there is a 13-year-old boy from the 1940s who's in her family history who has a heart issue, very much so like what Sophia has going on, and Sophia wanted to know if that was related to hers, right? And we both picked up on yes, and it's in the family lineage. So Sophia, though, is doing work in a different way that he is not. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's more work to do on this, right? So Sophia's question is she wanted to know if that was the truth, and I feel that it is. What do you feel?
I do.
Yeah, and Sophia does too. But that doesn't mean that you're going to die, right? And it also means that if you feel comfortable, because we live in earth world and metaphysical, we can look into these things, right? And start doing the research in this. As well as look into our chart, do the metaphysical. We can see what's available out there in earth world, as well as metaphysically, whatever you feel comfortable with. I don't think it's an accident that you want to be a doctor and all of this is coming in with this. What do you feel? Yeah. But this ultimately is about healing your heart for, yeah. Everything is metaphysical, right? And just like we went to all the doctors in earth world for these things going on with you, right? And they what? They didn't really help you, did they? No. So we can either go down different avenues, right? But we're going to have some challenges here, but we can do that if you feel called to it. But we'll talk to God and universe and love for everything having to do with this. Does this make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so now we get out our notebooks, and you can do this yourself, because I feel like this is the start of you being your own greatest doctor. How cool is that? Do you feel like that? Yeah, and if you're sad about it, cry it out, clear it out, ask God to heal it, ask God to change it, ask God to be free of that. You see? And thank you, God, for that for us from love. Right? Yeah. Okay? Do you have any other questions that go with this? And thank you, God, for this for us and all of us from love. Go ahead.
They said they did an autopsy on him, and they said that the reason he died was because he was exposed to scarlet fever 7 years before, and I wanted to know what you got on that. They said that he was, did you hear that, guys? They said that he was already exposed to scarlet fever 7 years before, okay? He already had a propensity for that in the DNA. So it's not unlike the mold sickness. Do you see what I'm saying? The mold exposure created this and pulled this out of you, just like it pulled this out of me. So now it's a question of, okay, God, well, what do we need to do to change that? And we've been working on it. But this is God and your soul sending you a flame under your ass to be more dedicated to this journey for your best health. Do you see what I'm saying? So that you don't cross over, because you're at another crossroads. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Do I want to stay in this life, or do I want to go? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? It does.
Yeah. So you have some questions, and we all have some questions to ask ourselves. Do we want to stay here? Do we want to work on this stuff? What is it that we want to do from love that is best for us on this journey? Do you see what I'm saying? Do we want to stay in this world
And then what are all the God's honest truth of all these answers? And let's ask God for the best healing, the best of everything we need. And that was no accident that you went down this path. See how amazing you are? Yeah. Your heart led you to help you in these times. So the question is, do you want to do this work? And let's ask God that you do, if this is what's best for you, right? From love, right? Because the more we have toxic thoughts, any of us, where we hate our lives and we hate ourselves and we think we're disgusting and we don't want to be here, then we create sicknesses that cause us to be able to process out. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Or transition. Yeah. So this is about healing those metaphysical things again, right? And that are this in here, which manifests in this. Okay? Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks. And let's ask God for the best healing for love for all of us. When all that we are, be, say, do, and create from love, to connect with that emotionally, to release it, clear it, heal it, anything in all of us that blocks this energy and is all this energy emotionally. Let us connect with it. Let us process it, clear it, heal it, free us from it, release it, and put the best way to be from love in the purest form with all energy that is all this, and all emotional energy that is all this, and all that is all this. And put love in the purest form, best way to be from love in the purest form in place of all this, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls, and in all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is, and the best way for us, and all something better. And thank you, God, for that for us.
Thank you, God, for that.
All right, I think we're done for tonight, are we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's about 9 o'clock.
Thank you. What?
A little bit before 9.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive. We'll be back next Friday, right? And bring your questions, and we'll have another great time and lots of wisdom and guidance, and we'll see you then. Much love. Bye-bye.